Hello, this is Mike Lawrence and my colleague John Rakes from Coffey Consulting. As part of Employer Engagement Month, we are here with Kris Harrell, Business Solutions Manager with the Pennsylvania Career Link in Berks County, Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania Career Link is the American Job Center or one-stop for the Berks County area. I've had the pleasure of working with Kris for several years and have admired their employer engagement efforts and their on-the-job training as part of that. Kris is going to share with us today some of the key effective practices that could be of use to you as an H-1B grantee. Kris, the PA Career Link in Berks County has a very successful history of engaging employers and building a strong, long-term working relationship with them. When did your agency start its employer engagement efforts, and what were the main components of that initial engagement?
In 2005 is when we first were in Berks County, and the approach was driven by the WIB's strategic priority for a strong employer connection and demand-driven one-stop. We had very well-defined roles and tasks that include face-to-face employer contacts. We had to generate high-defined quality job orders. We had to target employers that were either in a specific industry, newer expanding employers, or employers that had key occupations. They were also given, the WIB was given us, specific numeric targets that we had to meet on a yearly basis. And we also were to market all the CareerLink services and other services that are available to the employers here in Berks.
Sounds excellent. Since it started in 2005, how has this engagement evolved over the years?
A lot of different responsibilities were added to the business services team. Some things on top of the job order solicitation and that we had to do was also maintenance of the employer business folders and job postings on the state job board. We had to contact all the employers that may not have had an FEIN number on the system. We had to enter, review, approve, and reject all pending employer folders, contacts, job postings. We were now also involved with pre-screening and forwarding resumes of matched or self-referred customers to the specific job posting. We also, on top of all that, we provide the website technical assistance to the employers. We have one representative and one manager, myself, that became WorkKey's profilers. We also schedule and invoice employers for on-site recruitments. We create the mini job fairs at the Career Link. We proctor WorkKey's assessments for the OJTs, but we only serve as a backup for that. And we also handle all OJT applications, skill gap analysis. We create the training plans, conduct site visits, and collect the invoices and evaluations for those OJTs.
Well, it's a very comprehensive effort to work with those employers.
Yeah, so that's a great mix, Kris. During the past several years, social media has emerged as a strategy for building relationships with employers. How does your agency use social media to engage employers?
What we've done is we've actually created a LinkedIn group specifically for the employers. We have it titled the Pennsylvania Career Link Berks County's Business Services Connection. This is a closed group, and in order to become a member, you have to be approved by somebody on the business services team. We want to make sure that the person that's asking to be a member of the group is definitely an employer and not somebody who's a job seeker looking for employment.
That's a great use of LinkedIn. And that's a service that, is that a paid service, or are you accessing it as a free service?
It's a free service.
That's fantastic. Berks County has a unique way of linking the services it provides to job seekers and employers. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Sure. Actually, what we've done is we have created an employer contact team, and that team is made up of the business services team, the veterans representatives that are inside the Career Link, and also the EARN job developers. EARN stands for Employment Advancement and Retention Network. And we meet on a weekly basis to discuss what jobs business services may have coming in, any job fairs that we know of, any positions that we're having a hard time filling. And what they do in return is they come to us with individuals that they may be having a hard time placing, so that we know these are the types of positions we need to go out there and try to target, try to bring in for them. And we also discuss if there is a possible match. We both work together, say it's us and the veterans representative, we work together in helping that employer. We both have contact with that employer in trying to get the placement.
Sounds like a real partnership to me.
Definitely.
And for everybody's information, EARN is Pennsylvania's TANF for Welfare to Work program. Kris, many areas use a sectoral approach to engage employers. What are your sectors, and how have you used this approach to work with your employer community?
Well, what we've done is we use two different methods. We have first taken the industry clusters that were provided to us by our web, and we've designed them up and assigned them to a specific representative. That representative will now attend all the industry partnership meetings and will work hand in hand with the companies in that specific industry. This now makes that representative an industry expert. Now, there are times where we may create a relationship with somebody outside of our assigned industry, which is absolutely fine. That happens, and we completely understand that. But if there's a specific question that should arise that is specific for that industry, we know who we can go to and ask them that to try to help out the employer a little bit more. The other thing that we've done is we have separated and divided our county into townships, and we have assigned each representative to a specific township. Now, inside that township, the representative will blitz every single employer that's in that township, regardless of their industry cluster. When they return to the office, they will hand off the business card to the representative who may handle that specific industry. That representative will then follow up with the employer. What that has now done is, say, for instance, if I'm down in the southern part of the county, and I have 2 or 3 employers that are down there, and I've got like 12 employers in the north part of the county. Instead of me visiting just those 2 in the south, driving an hour and a half north to visit those 12, I'm now cutting out that hour and a half drive time, because that's time that I could be losing in visiting with employers. I'm now going to stay in that specific township in the south part of the county, see every single employer there, and then come back to the office and hand off those cards.
That's excellent. What's your subject matter expert area?
I specifically handle part healthcare, also education, and business financial services.
Tracking employer engagement is really important. How do you just track your employer engagement and the reporting you provide to the local workforce investment board and other people?
Well, the business services team reports weekly to me. We use a form that was developed by the web. This form collects the data on our performance measures, for example, any employer contacts or job postings. I then gather that data. I place it into a line graph showing what the goal is, the stretch goal, and where we are now. And then I report that weekly to my director. We then send the web report directly to the web contract monitor on a monthly basis for them to review.
So that's really useful for you as well when you're this tracking mechanism.
Right.
What challenges have you faced with employer engagement, and how do you overcome those challenges?
One of the hardest things was the employers thinking that we were there to increase their taxes and take away their business. They also believed that our local one-stop was also the UC office. So it took a lot of time in creating the relationships and educating them in knowing who we are and that we're actually there to help them.
You know, you said it takes a lot of time. It does take time to build a strong relationship, doesn't it?
It does. It does. It had taken me, for instance, with this one employer, it had taken me a good 3 years to really get in there and have them understand what it was that we do and for them to get to job board.
So persistence really does count in this business.
It does.
Another area that also sometimes counts in this business is to make sure that you streamline your services and not be too paperwork heavy. Did you do any of that as part of your effort to help convince employers that we're not this huge government bureaucracy coming to see you, but really out there to help them out? Like,
for instance, what we've done, especially with our on-the-job training contracts, we try to make it as easy as possible for the employer because we don't want to bombard them down with a ton of paperwork. We do most of it for them. That way, then, when we come to them and we have our contract and everything, I'm providing it all for them. I'm providing them with the invoices. I'm providing them with the evaluation forms. All the paperwork is already done. All they have to do is sign it, give me back the agreement, and then they have all the invoices. They just fill them out, and I pick them up on a monthly basis. So it really has become a lot easier for the employer.
Kris, if you could give one piece of advice on employer engagement to a workforce development agency, what would that be?
I would have to say, in order to create the strong employer relationship, you really have to have effective communication. You need to see through their eyes and really understand what it is that they need, and always, always deliver more than what they expect.
That's a great piece of advice, Kris.
Yeah, that certainly is an outstanding piece of advice. And it's been an outstanding discussion. We certainly thank you very much for sharing what you've learned. I think everybody of the H-1B grantees will find it very, very helpful and effective. I'd like to thank you very much, and I hope everybody has a great day.
Thank you.